So here we go, everybody. This is the new 2023 ID.4 Pro S. We're going to take this on a little joyride and see exactly what Volkswagen EV is all about. Let's get it. So my name is Fernando with Electrek, and like I said, today we have the ID.4 for an all-day kind of road trip situation, and to kind of see what it's like to really drive in one of these things. Like I mentioned earlier, we are using the ID.4, the 2023 model, in the Pro S trim. Now this Pro S trim starts at $47,495 MSRP, and that does not include any tax incentives that your state and federal tax gives you for purchasing an EV. Now the Pro S model does bring premium LED projector lights with adaptive front light system. We also have poor weather lights, which improves visibility in inclement weather, which was hard to test today because it was such a beautiful day. And we also have some nice other things that I noticed as I was driving the car. So we have an illuminated front and rear Volkswagen logo and a front light bar. We have a heated steering wheel, which is great for somebody like myself who's in the Northeast, and it does get relatively cold once these October, November, December months start to hit. And then one of the biggest things that surprised me about this car from a feature set standpoint, it doesn't really do anything in terms of how it drives and how it feels, but it does make it extremely comfortable when driving, and that is the ability to have a massage function. Now, it's not a crazy massage function. If you've been in an S550 or an S600, one of those higher end cars, those massage chairs are probably a little bit nicer, but this one, for the price, it does have lumbar support that moves up and down automatically, which was extremely comfortable, especially when you're going on a long 5 to 6 hour car drive. Which gives you about 268 miles on a full charge. The real range is about 240 to 260, but overall, it's a very plush experience. But we're just gonna take this out for a joyride and learn about the infotainment system, learn about the EV, see what it's like to charge it up, and also see what other technology, Volkswagen has added. Because Volkswagen in their German line has always been very, very stable and a very true car, something that just always works, especially with myself as a Volkswagen owner. I've owned about 4 different Volkswagens, but this is my first go around in the EV space with Volkswagen, so I'm excited to take it on this little joyride. So stick around for the video, it's gonna be a good one. So as we're going on this journey, I'm gonna just update you guys on the little quirks and features that I do notice as we go along. But you can see that the trim is very nice, plush, leather, the stitching is beautiful, and you just have 2 main screens. It's a very minimalistic design, very EV, of course. You have the main dash right here, which gives you the speedometer, lets you know how fast you're going, lets you know exactly what kind of lane assist is going on. And you can actually feel when on the highway, everything kind of keeping you in one lane. You feel the steering wheel kind of like nudge you a little bit when you are kind of drifting off into a certain lane. So that's always good to see. And then we do have a beautiful 12-inch monitor right here with Apple Carplay, both wired and wireless. And you also have Android Auto capabilities, which is beautiful to see. So the car is very intuitive. I just turned on cruise control and it's very, very simple to set up. Classic. Everything is a capacitive touch button, so you do feel a vibration, you feel a click, but it's actually not doing anything. And that's to each their own. Some people like the physical buttons, some people like totally touchscreen. This is kind of like a middle ground where it's capacitive, so you feel it and you get feedback when pressing the buttons, quote unquote, but again, it's not an actual button that you're pressing. But to set up the cruise control, you can see that we have it activated for 68 miles an hour. And then also, if you press this little button in the center right here, you can actually dictate how far away you want to be from the car in front of you. And you can see it with that little lever right there where it shows you how many distances. And I believe it's about 10 feet per. And then it's easy to just speed up. Also, we can speed up. It speeds up in increments of 5 miles an hour, but also keeping in mind that there is a truck right in front of us. So one really nice thing that I'm noticing about the adaptive cruise control in this ID.4 is that some cars actually disengage cruise control when you reach a certain miles per hour. But this one, I've dropped as low as 25 miles an hour. And not only does it keep my lane behind this car right here, but it also keeps a safe distance that I personally established, and then slowly lowers and speeds up depending on how far the car in front of me is, no matter how low that miles per hour is. At least so far, the lowest I've seen it go is 20 miles an hour. Curious to know if it goes any lower, but as I go right here, we'll go to 45, it's starting to speed up because the car in front of me has been speeding up as well. I'd love to see it. Another tidbit about this Volkswagen ID.4 is a 0 to 60. For this model specifically, I believe it's 5.4 seconds, but for the lower level model, the 62 kilowatt hour one will be 5.7 seconds. So yes, it's not that Tesla speed, that 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, but A, who really needs that much in terms of torque and power from 0 to 60? And B, it's still an electric car, so you still get that giddy up and go, you still get that instant torque, you still can pass people up very, very easily. And I'm gonna show you guys what it feels like, especially from somebody from my end, where I don't have too much experience with EVs. So we're gonna slow down here to about 20 miles an hour and then just hit the gas pedal, and let's see what it looks like in terms of my reaction. So 3, 2, 1, slingshot, engaged. Whoa. And it just feels kind of like a little spaceship, and it's fun. It's definitely a fun car to drive. So I did want to show off a little bit of the infotainment system, even though this is more of the tech specs and kind of the battery, data in use right now. So you get to see exactly, what's going on from a battery perspective with your car. So how many miles you get per kilowatt hour, how your distance has gone. So we've gone 52 miles, your average speed, how long you've been going for, and then your average mileage per kilowatt hour, which is, again, great data to have. And at 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour, we have about 197 miles left with a 74% charge. So just to give you a quick idea of what the infotainment system looks like, this is the built-in nav. You have the Bluetooth settings right here, or your MP3 player. So I'm currently wired in to my iPhone and playing music. You have the car information right here, and then you also have the ability to go to Carplay as well. So that is the home button. Then you go in here for multiple menu options, phone, navigation, control the sound. You also have the ability to use the Wi-Fi that's built into the car. So as you guys can see, this connection right here is actually the data connection in the car. And then if I go into CarPlay, you can actually see that that's the data connection for my phone. And you can see that my phone is Wi-Fi enabled and Wi-Fi connected to the Wi-Fi in the vehicle. So you can see that the buttons, there is some texture to the buttons on the steering wheel and some textures to the buttons on the actual dash themselves. But in my opinion, I would rather either gone one of each way, either make them fully touchscreen or give me some actual tactile buttons. This is taking the approach of haptic feedback, and they are capacitive buttons. So like when you do press them, you feel a little bit of feedback, but it's a little bit mushy in my opinion. So if that's something that you cannot get over, then again, maybe take a second look. But overall, from a function standpoint, everything does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's just a matter of getting used to the capacitive touch buttons. But again, I wish they went one of either way, either fully touchscreen or they went with actual knobs, especially for the climate control.
And then obviously you do have the hands-free easy open and easy close remote power rear liftgate, which also is very convenient when traveling with a lot of groceries because yes, this rear trunk will provide a lot of space for those larger grocery runs, and anything else, whether you go to maybe a Home Depot or a Lowe's and you have some larger equipment where you do have to put the rear seats down. So at the end of the day, I do think the ID.4 is well worth it if you are thinking about going EV, and especially if you are in the Volkswagen family already. So if you are in the Volkswagen family, this is a great next step if you do want to get into that EV world. Because there are a few things happening that you should take note of. So firstly is that Volkswagen is moving its manufacturing for US sales of Volkswagen ID.4s and other Volkswagen cars essentially, but they're moving it locally. So they're putting it in Tennessee, in Chattanooga. They have a $7 billion manufacturing plant to make everything more localized and personalized to the US consumer. And they're also introducing the new ID.4 standard, which is their $37,495 62 kilowatt hour rear-wheel drive ID.4 for 2023. That's going to be only for the US and North America, and it's going to be produced here in the US, which is great to see. So everything is more localized, everything is much easier to get, and ideally it will ramp up manufacturing and make them more readily available. And I think that 62 kilowatt hour ID.4 will be great as a beginner EV, especially if you want to stay with a German-made car. But that is pretty much going to do it for this ID.4 review. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Is this a car that you would pick for yourself, for your family members, or would you go a completely different route? Just always curious to know. But I think the ID.4 lineup is a great lineup from all the way at that $37,500 price point, all the way up to almost $54,000 with the new ID.4 all-wheel drive Pro S Plus. But that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy, click on one of these videos right here to see some other EVs from electric bikes to electric vehicles that could be on your list moving forward. But until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here. Peace.